Bar-Igan University is a beautiful modern university in Ramat Gan near Tel Aviv. Hello, I'm Evelyn Winsky, and with me today is Dina Berniker, our guest from Bar-Igan University, and this is Online. Welcome, Dina. Here, have you noticed that? Dina, tell us about when you first came to the university. I know that's a very interesting story.
Yes, probably the story of my life is the story of Bar-Ilan University, because I started to work at Bar-Ilan 30 years ago. The university then opened its gates to 70 students and 15 faculty members. Now we have 12,000 students, 1,200 faculty members, and we are very great university.
Oh, yes, you are. Now, wasn't your father one of the founders of the university?
Yes. You know, the founder of the Bar-Ilan University, the dreamer, was the American professor, Professor Pinchas Churgin. And he came to Israel and decided that he wanted to found a very unique institution that will combine Judaism and science. His idea was so attractive that my father, who was one of the Mizrahi leaders in Israel, joined him and helped him to work it out in Israel. He was also one of the founders. So when I heard about this wonderful enterprise, I took a year's leave of absence because I was a teacher in high school. And I started to work at Bar-Ilan, was very much charmed by the university, and I remained up till now.
Oh, that's wonderful. Now, the Judaism and the secular education have to be together, right? Every student has to take a Jewish studies course. Is that correct?
I'm so happy to know that you know so much about Bar-Ilan already. This is a very special thing of Bar-Ilan, that every student, no matter what his field of study is, law or physics, mathematics or psychology, has to take, in addition to his academic studies, what we call basic Jewish studies, Jewish philosophy, Jewish history, Bible, and Talmud. And in this way, we are training not only very good scholars, but also proud Jews, that they know about their heritage and they know about their roots.
Yes. Now, all your students, are they all from Israel, or where do they come from?
Oh, perhaps I'll give you a description of our student body.
Yes, that would be wonderful.
Perhaps you'll enter with me into a classroom, and let's see what kind of students we see. First of all, there are the Israeli students, most of them above 21 years of age, and they are dividing their time between serving in the army, Miluim, reserve army, family life, work, and study. Because students in Bar-Ilan and in Israel are older, more mature than students in the United States, because they start to learn in the university after army service, and they have already other obligations. Then among these students, you could see many students from abroad, well adjusted to the Israeli atmosphere. You can see in Bar-Ilan many army officers with their ranks on their uniform that come to study in the university. And among all this unique scene, you can see white-headed students that are studying in a special program that we had for senior citizens, subsidized by Brookdale American Foundation.
Now, your senior citizen program, you have a wonderful program there. Could you tell us a little bit about that, since you mentioned that?
I'd like very much to tell you. You know, we have more than 1,000 senior citizens that start a new career in life after retiring, and it gives them so much joy. They are happy again to get up in the morning. They come to study, intermingle among the young students, and they really feel young again because they have a new goal in life. You know, we have a lady, I met her last week, and she just now finished her BA. She's 80 years age. Her age is 80.
That's wonderful.
And she said, well, I've still time. I'm continuing for my advanced studies. So you understand how much it does to elderly people?
Oh, I think that's wonderful. I also learned that you have a great program for your veterans. You watch out for them if they have to go into the war. The whole faculty bands together. Can you tell us a little bit about that? And
Yes, very much so. I'll have some water
oh, sure. Go right ahead.
because I'm dry. Bar-Ilan University was the first university in Israel that was so much oriented with contribution to society, contribution to Israeli life, because most of universities are ivory towers. They deal with study, academic research, and weren't so oriented with the social activities. So Bar-Ilan opened extensions in army camps, in army bases, and soldiers and officers who serve far away from centers of learning. They receive their academic training because teachers of Bar-Ilan, professors, fly far away to the army bases, and they give their university courses as if it was a university in every respect. So these army officers don't lose time, and before they finish their army, their duty, they have already gained credits in university courses. So then when they come to civil life, they must learn another year or so, and they get their degrees. So it's a great service for Israel and for people who retire from the army. You know, especially high officers, they retire in a young age, about 40, 45, and then they are young to retire. They start a new career. So most of them get 2 years leave from the army to choose what field they want to deal with when they are retired. So we have many, many high officers, generals, and officers like this that study like young students, and they get academic training at Bar-Ilan.
No, that's wonderful. Now, do you have any students there that are Arabs?
Oh, yes. You know, we are a religious university,
Yes.
but we are very tolerant. And we have Arab students studying, about more than almost 200 Arab students studying at Bar-Ilan University. You know, actually, we have also an Arab lecturer that he finished his BA, MA, and PhD program at Bar-Ilan. He started as an assistant, and now he's a senior lecturer in the Department of General History in Bar-Ilan.
Oh, now, and do the Arab students take the courses in Judaism also?
No.
Oh, that's not
We don't
required.
force them. No, it's not required, because they take courses. Instead of this, they can take general courses, whatever they like, because for them it's more important to know their history than our Jewish roots. I mean, we don't force them. If they like, they are welcomed, but we don't force. You see, you touched a very sensitive point.
Yes.
Bar-Ilan is unique in being so open and so tolerant. It's the only place around the world that religious and non-religious intellectuals live together, understand each other, are tolerant one with another. Because we believe that if there is no dialogue, there will be no understanding. And nowadays there is such extremity, such polarization among many segments in Israel society.
Yes.
And Bar-Ilan plays the most important role in bringing understanding and tolerance. Because we are not to convert anyone. We are not missionaries. We just want to learn about ourselves. And many non-religious students, Jews, come to learn in Bar-Ilan because they want to know about their heritage. Now I want to tell you something that I always used to say when I'm abroad. In a way, Bar-Ilan University is a microcosmos of what we would like the state of Israel to be.
Mm-hmm.
While being fully integrated in the 20th century modern world, it has to fulfill its old destiny and heritage, to combine old and new,
Yes.
modern science, culture, and tradition. And that's what Bar-Ilan does.
Oh, it's so wonderful. And now you have such a terrific program in science and research. Can you tell us a little bit about that as a thing
I'll
that
do
you're
it
doing?
gladly,
Oh,
gladly,
good.
because usually, I spoke before about ivory towers. Usually universities used to deal with basic studies, not implied applied, you say applied science, because applied science was good for industry, for medicine, but not for pure academic research.
Right.
But nowadays, when there are so many sophisticated modern problems to solve, technical problems, scientific problems, Bar-Ilan saw that she has to be more involved in the world of doing, to contribute to industry, to medicine, to society. And many very important researches, there are many breakthroughs in a few fields in Bar-Ilan, of which I would like to tell you. In our natural sciences, in the Department of Life Science, a woman, a professor, a researcher, found an element which protects the body against burns and also cures burns. And it's a very new element, and after we get the permission from Helsinki committee, a Helsinki committee which has to confirm each new medicine that you take out into the market. After we'll get this approval, it will really do something very, very important in the world of burning and protecting the skin.
No, it's wonderful.
While speaking about the skin, there is something, a very good news for us women and men as well. In the Department of Life Science, they found a new element which protects the skin against aging.
Ah.
It's an antioxidant element, substance, which subtle in water. If I say about water, I must drink again.
Of course.
It's subtle in water, and we can use it in cream, and it is really avoiding aging. It doesn't make you young again, but it helps you not to become older. And it's also good for food, for conserved food, that you have to put antioxidant elements in order it not to be
like
to get
a preservative?
Yes, preservative.
Yeah.
It's like a preservative, but the new thing is that it is soluble in water and it has no poison in it. In all other preservatives, there is a certain percentage of poison. And this segment is without poison whatsoever. So it's a very interesting.
Remarkable.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the last two things I left for the last. You know, last not
The
least.
best.
We are so much worried now about cancer
Yes.
and lately AIDS that becomes such a danger to all of us. So Bar-Ilan University found a substance that helps the body to you know, there is a immunology. The body has its immunology system. And when we are sick and when we have a certain sickness, our body can't protect itself because the lymphokines of the body are destroyed. So this substance helps the body to immune itself. It stimulates the immune cells of the body. And when the immune cells are not hurt, are not damaged, they can protect the body against the enemy, against the foreign intruders, the strange intruders that bring the cancer or AIDS. And now it is done on animals, and the great research is done in cooperation Bar-Ilan University and the NIH in Washington. You know, the National Institute of Health,
yes.
the highest institute for health all over around the world. So we have a cooperation in research, and I hope that in a year or even less time, it will be a wonderful medicine for people and help people fight such terrible.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
And you also have a psychological clinic there, is that correct?
Yes, before I tell you about the psychological clinic, I just want to say something else about cancer that I haven't
yes.
mentioned, and this is already working in the market because very important companies, business companies are interested in it, and they buy all this, what we are producing now. So we have found out a new machine, innovative machine for cancer detection. So now with a very simple blood test, every technician can find out whether the person examined has cancer, and also to classify what kind of cancer he has. And this is really such a breakthrough in science, an unbelievable breakthrough, because the problem with cancer is that when we find it, it's already in a very high stage, and then it's difficult to heal. And this is a very early detection of cancer in the body when the person even doesn't feel that something is wrong with him. So there is a way to deal with the matter before it's too late.
Oh,
you see?
Very exciting. It really is.
Yes.
It's
And now when
wonderful.
you asked about psychology department, we have a wonderful psychology department whose latest research was about the brain and memory and methods of learning. Because old people sometimes, their memory are weakened. You know, you have an instant memory, things that happen now, and you have a memory, an historical memory, something what happened before, long ago. You see many old men, they remember what happened years ago, and they don't remember the immediate things that they have to do and that they were thinking of.
Right.
So they are now trying how to help for the immediate memory and also for the long memory. So it's also a cooperation between the psychology department and our life science department. There was a very interesting research made in Bar-Igan testing how long a person can be active without going to sleep. So we got volunteers, we paid them, and they were followed 24 hours, 36 hours, 72 hours without letting them to sleep even a moment. They were followed everywhere they went, and we wanted to see how the activity is becoming weaker and weaker the less they sleep.
Yeah.
So we learned a lot from it, and the Army uses this, the results of this research, because they know there is a time you can't anymore ask soldiers to be effective, because you know soldiers sometimes don't sleep for many, many hours.
That's right.
So it was an invited research by the Army, and it was very helpful.
It's very
yes.
interesting. It certainly is. Tell me, you are a woman at the university.
Yeah.
Now, is there any conflict there with the university being an Orthodox university with the women's role, or how a woman is seen?
You know, it's a very interesting question, because we women always think that we are a little discriminated. Not long ago, even in Oxford, England, at the World War I, women were not allowed to study at the university, not speaking of teaching in the university. So come to think of it, that about 60, 70 years ago, women weren't allowed to study in university. You know, there is a very funny story that while the World War I, a lecturer in Oxford came into the class and he saw only women. It was full of women because all the husbands were mobilized, and they had enough time not to care for their homes, so they came to be free listeners. And there was only one weak man sitting there. He wasn't in the army. So when the lecturer came in and saw all these hundreds of women, he said, "Dear sir," as if all the women were irrelevant. Well, we made a great progress since then. Bar-Igan University, for instance, we have a Senate. The Senate includes all full professors of the university, and there are only 3 women professors among all these
even
70.
today.
Even today, but it's already a progress. You know, in former days, we had the Sanhedrin. It was the highest Jewish authority in the Jewish world, and it was only men. So if we think of it, we still made a progress. But now I'll speak seriously about the matter. In order to advance in academic career, one has to have academic publications. In academic life, it's very cruel. We say it's PP, publish or perish. Either you publish or you perish from this academic.
The same thing here, I
Yes.
think, too. Yeah.
So there is no discrimination whatsoever if they come to judge about a woman and a man for an academic status. But reality makes this discrimination, because a woman, till she is able to develop herself and learn as a man, it takes time. First of all, she has to bring up the family. She doesn't have enough time for publishing. So, so that when a man in his 30s is not in the same grade as a woman. So the discrimination is not by judging them, it's because of the other tasks a woman has. But there are women who are in a certain range, not in the highest, in the university, in the second degree, but they fulfill themselves in other ways. If they have children and if they have happy families, it's also a way for a woman to fulfill herself.
Yes. I wanted to ask you, since we are talking about women, I know that you were at the UN Conference for Women in Nairobi last summer. And since we're talking about women's roles, how was that? Was that worthwhile? Did you feel that that was worthwhile for women?
I think it was a very, very important thing for women, but especially for us Jewish women. You know, it was the end of the women's decade. It started in Mexico 10 years ago.
Yes.
And instead of being a women's issue, it ended as a political issue, and then they declared that Zionism is racism.
Right.
It was a very hard decision for us. And then after 5 years, there was the same conference in Denmark, in Copenhagen, and the same decision repeated itself. They declared Zionism is racism. This time, before the conference started, we were about 23 women from Israel. In the delegation, it was an NGO delegation, non-governmental organization delegation.
Yes.
So we got a lot of briefing in the Foreign Office because they wanted to prepare us how to react, how to answer, how to respond toward hatred and hostility, and how to try to avoid the same resolution. So we came there. We were only 33, but after a day, we were already 350. Because all the Jewish women from all around the world joined us. And when we had our briefings, it was every afternoon in the Jewish Center, we felt that we have a power, that we are something, because Jewish women that came under foreign flags, that came from other countries, their Jewish feeling was the strongest, and they joined us, and they helped us a lot. So while we met in the workshops with so much hatred, we also felt that there is love and understanding from our Jewish sisters, and also from the women from Kenya. You know, Israel contributed a lot to Kenya. Israel helped Kenya to gain its independence. We helped them in agriculture, in industry, in the economics, and they didn't forget it. So always when they wanted a bad resolution against Israel to come out, they were helping us. And the American and the Kenyan helped us that the same resolution, Zionism, racism, won't repeat itself. So
and
that was a success.
That was a success, yes. Did you come across any terrible situation where you saw anti-Semitism?
Yes, I'll tell you.
What happened?
If you want, I'll tell you really a story that I was part of it.
Yes, I'd like to hear that.
It was unbelievable. The first thing I entered the workshop, I want to tell you, we were there 14,000 women from all over the world, black women and white and red and yellow, and old women and young women with all colors, all kinds of dresses. It was a world of women, and you could see women from Africa dressed traditionally, and you thought, well, perhaps she doesn't know to write, and she's a professor at university. To see the way Africa women progressed, and to think of the gap between the very, very intellectual women that finished their studies in Oxford, and between women, rural women that don't have flowing water there, that there is such, their babies die, there is no nutrition. I mean, there is such a gap.
Yeah.
To meet all sorts of women, it was very exciting. And so we had to decide in what workshop to participate. Because we were Israelis, so much important for us to defend our country, we were sent to problematic workshops where we thought it might be how do you say, attacked by Israel, by Palestinians.
You wanted to defend yourself.
The Palestinians and the communists came together. There were more than 4,000, very sophisticated in their propaganda. very clever in the way they put on their message. They brought pictures, and it was with a montage. You can see, for instance, an eye, and you can see a drop of water. But when you will put it together, it has another connotation. It's already a tear.
Right.
So they worked in this way. Anyway, my first experience was, I entered the workshop. It was full. Women sitting on chairs and on the windows and on the airs, because it wasn't big rooms and it was very much crowded. And Arab women with their traditional black coats with black covered faces, only the eyes you see. And an Israeli woman, a communist, she was standing and telling the most terrible lies about Israel. That we kill children and all men are arrested, and the children don't get education, and we close universities. Whatever thing she could say, she was speaking about it, and people applauded, and we were standing, 3 Israeli women. So one of us shouted, "It's a lie, it's a lie." The moment they heard we are from Israel, they say, "You are from Israel, out, out, out," started to clap with their hand and shout, "Out, out." We were standing, the 3 of us, and I told Dina, no, the moment came, either to go out or try to do something. So I got up and I said, "I want to speak to you, I'm from Israel." They shouted, "Out, out." I said, "I'm not a political figure."
Right, Dina, you have to get to
Yes.
the end of the story, because our time's almost up. So give us what happened at the end, so
Anyway,
that we don't miss
yes,
that.
I'm sorry that I'm telling it so long. I wasn't aware of it.
It's very interesting.
Yes.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it really is.
when they listened to me, and when I start speaking about facts, they say that we closed the university. What they didn't say that 5 universities was open 67 when the West Bank was under Israel regime, and that we opened many schools for nursing schools, and the nutrition is much better, and they have electricity and water. So when you say these words, it breaks through them, not those that are our enemies, but through other women. And then when we went out, they started to ask us about Israel. And one woman from Holland said, "You know, I want you to share with me a workshop because you have nice things to say." So it was very important to bring our truth with facts, not with hatred, and it did something to them. I think we break through a little. It did something. I don't know if much, but the Israeli voice was heard there.
Yes, well, you educated them. Yeah,
A
that's
little.
wonderful. And so you felt that you really got something out of this.
I was very much excited. It was an experience that I never experienced before, because I confronted a world of hatred and of lies and of hostility, and the world of love and understanding. And we saw that when all Jews, when we are together, and when we stick together, and when we work together, there is still much hope for us.
That's beautiful. You know, there was a quote about you in Haaretz, your newspaper in Israel, that said there is only one Dina, and that's for sure. I can see that you have so much life and vigor and enthusiasm and brilliance, and it's such a pleasure for us. I can see that we could go on talking for hours. So thank you.
Thank you. It
Thank
was
you
so
for
much
coming.
nice.
And thank you all for coming. We're very pleased that you could be with us today on online. Dina, you are a charming, beautiful woman, and we're very fortunate to have you with us today.
Thank you.
You're welcome.